Is that the traveling decoy you got beside you?
Yeah, look at that. You see that on the internet this year?
Yeah, I saw that. Is there anywhere you can sign on it anymore, or is it all filled up?
You have to start signing over names. There's a story about, I got asked by a lot of people about this decoy, and it's just an old herder's decoy, and it's really a lousy choice to sign on, and a lousy choice to, I had thought when I was going to do this travel decoy around all these people I hunted with, I probably hunted 120, 130 days or times between mid-September and end of January, end of February, but I had thought that I would float it everywhere I went. And that's a lousy decoy to do it, because you remember them old herder foam decoys, they lose their paint, they lose the scratch real easy. And but I'll tell y'all about this. I feel very strongly. So a lot of people say, well, why did you? What's the point? Why are you getting everybody to sign it? Well, next time we do a meeting, I'll go to my game room over at camp and just show y'all some of the background there. But I just found over the years, I don't collect birds, but I do have a lot of mounted birds. And I noticed every time I started telling a story about that bar-headed goose, about that snow goose, about that red-crested pochard, about that pintail, about that gargany, about whatever, anytime I started telling a story about that bird and about that hunt, it always came around to people. And that was what was so amazing to me this hunting season, was traveling around hunting with these people. And many, many, many people that shared their part of the world and their slice of the pie and their stories. And I just really found a tremendous amount of value in doing that. So now I'll hang this decoy. Next time I go to camp, I'll hang it up in my game room, and it'll be just a tribute to all these many people I hunted with.
That's damn interesting.
I'll tell you why that's important, Jeff, is this decoy belonged to a friend and a client of mine. And I know that because of the way it was rigged with this screw in the bottom. Most of his other decoys had his name on the bottom. This one doesn't, but I know the way he wrapped this, put this wood screw in that foam, that was his, and I'd forgotten about it, and I'd taken it to camp and put it up on a shelf. And I went to go get an old wooden black duck decoy I had. Probably use it next year. And this decoy was right next to it, and I took it down, I looked at it, and I remembered. I'm going to tell you, the man's life, he was the kind of guy, we travel. There were mornings I would wake up after him carrying on the night before, telling stories and jokes. I would wake up and my stomach hurt like I had done crunches from laughing so hard the night before. He was that guy. He brought out the best in people. He was just a very, very generous and giving man. And he called me up one day out of the blue and said, "Hey, I'm cleaning out the garage. You want some decoys?" I said, "Yeah, what you got?" He said, "I got a bunch of these old herder decoys, burlapped, and some, just got a big sack of them. Man, it's a massive sack of them." About a year or two later, his life ended in tragedy. And, because we all got demons and that we have to deal with. And as I walk by my game room and I see a picture of him, he and I hunt together, I think about that. And I think to myself, I shared the best times, or some of the best times, of that man's life with him in a duck blind. And that's kind of gets back to the point of why I wanted to, as I'm meeting people around the country and around the world, to have them sign it, and it's just a memorial, because I really do treasure the times and the people and the stories. A lot of people would ask, well, golly, man, it just blows my mind. So many people were asking, how in the world you meet all these people? And it's like you've known them your whole life. You step into a duck blind, you shake hands, you've never met them, but it's like y'all are family. And I said, man, that's just because we're all duck hunters.
Yep, special bond.
We all are. It don't matter how a man acts on Facebook. You meet him face to face in a duck blind, and in that moment, you're just duck hunters.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah, I think, and I think that's something that separates waterfowl hunting from any other kind of hunting, because you get that opportunity to bond in the duck blind. You don't get that in a deer stand. You don't get it. You don't get it anywhere else. It's an exclusive thing to waterfowl hunting, and that's why some of the bonds that we've formed in the field, and even through this podcast. I mean, there are people that we might not align with politically or socially or anything like that, but if we get them on this podcast or if we see them out in the field, just like you said, they're just duck hunters, and we just want to hear their story.
Best conversations in the world are that 15 minutes before legal shooting time, and it goes from the greatest stories in the world to tell Jeff to shut the fuck up. It's about time to shoot. But that is what happens.
In general, you think about it. If you took the average duck hunt, the best duck hunt, 30 minutes, 6 guys.
Yeah.
You know, the trigger pulls, if you added up put a timer on the trigger pulls, it's just seconds.
Yeah.
It's moments in an hour and a half hunt, let alone a hunt till lunch. And, you know, I've always felt that the time between the volleys is where real duck hunting and real life happens. You know, the conversations, I can remember when my sons were graduating high school, especially this day and age, man, they got football, they got this, they got a cell phone, they got girls. But, man, when you're in a duck blind, you talk about things, you just ain't going to talk about the rest of the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's just and it's still, man, doesn't it feel good to go to somewhere it is politically incorrect as a duck blind or a goose blind? Doesn't it feel good that there's still somewhere like that in the world that you can just let your hair down and say what you want to
say? I'm in my element there.
I am in my element, yeah.
I can remember.
My wife criticized me all the time coming back from, you know, being gone 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, a month, whatever. My language is just, it's pretty bad, man. It make red fox blood.
Mine is too. That's funny that your wife says that, because my wife says the same thing. Like, she made a comment not too long ago, like, man, last summer you were doing real good, but now you're just kind of like a sailor. I'm like, well, shit, it's just who I've been around. But you mentioned that. I can remember a couple years ago I had a father and a son, and it was just them two. And they were duck hunting, and same like you said, he was in football, baseball, wrestling, track. I mean, just his calendar was full. The son's was, and he was a senior in high school. And I remember that dad telling me after that hunt was over that they talked more on that 2 days of hunting and being out here at the lodge than they had almost his entire high school career. Felt like he re-met his son. Just in the time being out here. I mean, life's busy. You get shit. It's hard. It's hard to parse out, 30 minutes of your day if you got a wife and 2 kids of one-on-one action. And he did. He said, I feel like I've talked to my son more this weekend than I have in his whole high school career.